This was probably one of the most chaotic servers I've ever experienced. And watch till the end, because the more you watch this, the more chaos is going to unfold. There was just a lot going on. You had this situation, you had that situation, you had this and that, this and that. It was just too much to handle. So, just stay till the end, I guess. I don't know. Don't ask me why I was in this position. I kind of figured I would do a sneak attack on the CI member, but it turns out there was more than one. When I read the message, I immediately rushed over to the CDC, but there was a surprise waiting for me. That announcer should have been more specific, because how the heck was I supposed to know that motherfucker was near the darn door? Well, that was lovely. At this point, I was rushing over to deal with SCP-939, but what do you know, he decides to visit Sector 1. I can tell one of the O5s that sent this message is not very happy because I can't understand a word he just said. These people had an IQ of a frickin' lemon because they wouldn't crouch, and next thing you know, they're getting mauled to death. And here's this idiot, not even crouching, points out his gun, and here comes this other dude with a freaking machine gun and decides to shoot him up, bang him up, and it just makes it worse because now 939 is pissed, and these people start to scramble like flies because they know they're Then 939 barges out the door, and now the situation gets even worse because these people wouldn't freaking crouch. At this point, I have no words because there is just too much going on. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, 1299 came out of So at this point, nothing even happens. Most of the time, I'm just checking the SCP containment chamber to make sure none of the SCPs have escaped. So we'll fast forward to even more chaos. So the reason why I'm fast forwarding this is because most of the time I'm communicating with all the other members on how it got out. We assumed it was probably a hacker or something. Heck, I don't know. So I let the people communicating know that I was going to head to the CR to make sure, none of the SCPs are breached. And I find this. Somebody let it out again. So now I am wondering who keeps on letting it out, because there's no way it escaped by itself. When the O5s read my message, they immediately announced to all personnel that 939 breached once again, And then short time later, they request immediate backup over there because 939 keeps on escaping. So I have no idea who keeps on letting it out, but whoever it is, I hate to say it, but you're retarded. As I'm heading down to Sector 3, I get the same surprise. And now the O5 members are in disbelief because they don't know, and even I don't know, who keeps on letting it out. By the way, I just discovered a new nickname for 939. Hot Dog. As I was heading down to Sector 3, one of the CI members decided to be a kid and try to destroy one of the Transformers. Yeah, I had trouble getting behind there. Well, that's over with. As I was heading to Sector 3, someone was already waiting for me. What's funny to me is that amidst all the chaos, 131 is just walking around minding its own business. And of course, nothing is going to come at us because this one dude wouldn't frickin' crouch, and well, he had an IQ of a frickin' lemon, so of course he's not going to crouch. As I was heading down to Sector 3, the CI decided to start their fiasco again. As you can see, I am being very cautious. But as I was on my way to deal with the situation, apparently one of the MTF members finally killed it. So now that situation's done for. I'm gonna fast forward this for a bit because at this point I'm heading over to the CDC to check on everything over there. This person over here was spinning around like he was in a merry-go-round. But as I was heading back down to the main lobby, I find this. The whole frickin' squad has been infected, for crying out loud, and I'm trying my best to get out of there, and I end up getting infected. So what do? I respawn. Now, there's another situation.
The site is currently undergoing an infection outbreak. If you are not a combatant, please head to the breach shelter and avoid contact with any infected instances.
And of course I get jack-slapped by a freaking zombie, which means I am infected again. So now I gotta respawn again. As I'm walking out the ISD department, I die for some reason. As I was heading back to the main lobby in Sector 1, I find this surprise. eliminate that infected inmate who was escaping, and now I start chasing him. But in the middle of chasing him, I lost him. He just disappeared into thin air. So now I'm looking everywhere to find him, and I still can't find him. So I have no idea where he went to. So that wraps it up for today's video, because nothing happened after.